Well, I'd like to welcome everyone. This is our third Zoom of the year here, hoping that soon we can meet in person again instead of just Zooming around. Everything is still the way we had it at the last meeting. Everything's still on hold. Brandy can't join us because she's on furlough along with Madeline. But Brandy did give me the county report to tell everyone. The fourth quarter report is due now. She was working on that. And there's been a change that we now are going to have 5 quarters this year. Doesn't make sense, but we're having 5 quarters. And the 5th quarter will end September 30th. And then the 2021 calendar will only have 3 quarters. And that will run from October through June. I'm guessing that that's their best way of, you know, trying to straighten out what we have. That was her only report. The next thing I just would like to mention is that the NJPN had their first conference online. I participated in that. Other than a few audio and visual changes and problems, everything seemed to go all right. Everyone that I've talked to said that, you know, they enjoyed the workshop. The part I didn't understand or didn't know that was going to be that we have access to that for the rest of the year. So when we have time, we can go to any of the programs if we want to visit them. So I thought that was pretty good that it was extended to make that easier. That's basically the only thing I have. The other thing is a Thrive concern that I had mentioned with Brandy. I think that we need to adjust this program the best we can for the remainder. And since we are working now out of Brick Memorial, perhaps increasing our attendees by making it open to anybody, not just those kids from Maple Leaf. But I think that that's something we need to talk about maybe during the next quarter here to see what we could do and some other ideas that people might have. But I know that there's more kids at Brick Memorial that we can deal with than we are. And perhaps that would help get us a more consistent group. That's my concerns.
What was the eligibility? Just that they had to be of high school age and deemed, whether it's through the SAC or like guidance counselors, as at risk?
Well, yeah, that's the target, is the at risk. And I know that just by my own knowledge of how many other kids that we're not getting through to, that we could, since we're now located there. It was a little more difficult when we were at Maple Leaf, you know, then we kind of just dealt with Maple Leaf. But I think that we could deal with some other areas. I'm not sure, Andrea, if we're allowed to with the grant, or we can make some changes so that that could occur.
You know, I'm really not even 100% sure because of this 5th quarter. So from what I understand, even though they've added a 5th quarter, there's still no programs that can go forward.
Right, correct.
So,
but I'm saying that, you know, maybe we should think about something, you know, so that we're ready for when it can start.
Right.
You know, so that we don't waste time.
Right. So there's 2 things. One actually has to do with the grant. There's no, the funding is probably going to be reduced, not just because of the 3 quarters versus 4 quarters, but because this grant is funded by drug enforcement demand reduction fines. And since there's been no court, there's been no fines collected. So we have really no idea what kind of funding we're going to receive, you know, if we do get the go ahead to start up October 1. The other thing is, and I'm gonna, Mosley, I'm gonna put you under the light on this because what we're hearing is that even if kids are back in school in September, it's probably not going to be 100% of kids in the building every day. And there will probably not be, like, for DART, we're making adjustments to our school-based program now because we're being told they're probably not going to let people from outside the district come into the buildings.
Mm.
Have you heard anything like that?
He's on mute.
Oh, you have to
He's
unmute
on.
yourself.
He's on mute, yeah.
All right.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Glad I had myself muted because otherwise I'd say things.
That's what your idea is.
I haven't heard anything yet about next year, but I'm thinking, you know, once again, maybe what you're saying is something that we have to think about.
Mm.
I don't know if, you know, Brandy's been allowed in the school and we haven't had a problem with her getting in because she comes in for so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'd have a problem with that. My question would be, are the kids going to be there on those days?
Right.
We don't know the scheduling yet.
Right.
So, and are we going to have access after school hours even?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
You know,
point.
Those are
Right.
those are my questions. You know, I think we have to, you know, maybe I guess I can start asking some questions of Dr. Farrell and start, you know, putting out some feelers for that, and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that, I know it's like probably too late to do it now, but like when the school district put out all these virtual summer camps or where teachers were putting together is that something that can be done and added into in some way, like a virtual Thrive?
I think I mean, I just put one in. I'm actually doing a club for the school for history, for African American history. I don't think we'd have a problem with doing that.
If we'll get the kids to participate.
Yeah. But,
That's our key. And,
Right.
you know, we know the type of kids we've had haven't been very outgoing.
or, you know,
The parents, right?
I had two of them in my U.S.
Mhm.
history this semester, and getting them to participate in class regularly was a struggle. You know.
And I don't know how much access they have to a computer and want to say anything,
Right.
you know, on a computer, not knowing who else is listening or whatever.
And I know all the computers that we gave out to kids are due back. I think they're starting them next week to collect that's the technology. So their access becomes questionable also.
Yeah.
Right. Mm.
But if this is like the new way, like if this is our new way of doing business, for lack of better terminology, like wasn't the goal always to get parents engaged in some capacity as well? And if it gets moved to a virtual platform, are parents more apt to participate because they can do it from anywhere at that point rather than having to be someplace at a certain time? Or am I conflating two different programs? I'm linking the parents with Thrive, but I don't know if that's necessarily the
The
case.
parents haven't been involved with Thrive, but I'm not sure this group that we're dealing with would be very open to it.
Yeah.
Even the parents, you know.
Understood.
And once again, when you start talking the virtual platforms, it's a matter of the timing. I've been living on on it, you know, since second, you know, we went out, and the time that we spend on it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I'll be honest, I went to the beach today, but I couldn't go to the beach until I had a meeting at 8:00. Finished the meeting, did some work, went to the beach, had to be back because I had another meeting before this. I don't know. Setting those parameters for those kids becomes interesting. Yes, sir. I thought you were going to say something, Chief.
Well, what I was going to say is, like every week he's changing, the different rules, regulations, policies, and he's opening up a lot more. Now, I think your school day might look different because there's so many kids that arrive at once. But like he just raised, I think it was as of today, where indoor meetings can be up to 100 people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you don't have that many kids participating. So
We wish.
Yeah.
So I would think that, like I said, the regular school day might have a lot of different regulations and restrictions, but I could see an after-school program like that, probably is doable.
Yeah. The question is where then?
Yeah.
I know you and I, are you going to be at the meeting on the 6th, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Because are some of those kids going to be there? Or I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
They were all from New Beginnings Church, not from this. Well, I don't know which school.
Yeah. Okay. That's another wrinkle, because if that's on the other side of town, I don't know.
That is on the other side of town. I don't know what our answer is going to be. I don't think we're going to have an answer. We're going to have to keep researching and get some ideas.
I'll ask Diane too. I know she's
Right.
not right.
No.
I'll reach out to her and see where she is on this.
All right. I don't know whether, Chief, if you had anything else you wanted to add. I know that everything is on hold, but did you have anything else you wanted to add about what we've been doing with the grant or not doing?
Not in that regard, I guess, but just an update on the other programs, Neighborhood Watch and so forth. We just added another group, Normandy Beach.
Okay.
And because of a lot of the restrictions being lifted, they're going to start actually setting up meetings. Because we might get 20, 25 people, so we're far off from, the new policy and numbers and so forth. So they're going to start scheduling them out like right away.
Okay.
And a couple of them that they already have scheduled are outside meetings. If the weather stays nice. So.
Right. Right. That is our possibility too for us. Yeah. Okay.
And
I think everybody is searching to have people contact again, Yeah.
And they're going to start doing the Because We Care, going and following up on the overdoses. They're going to start that up again very soon. Jim Kelly, who runs that, has been in contact with the health department, who we've partnered with.
Okay. Andrea, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, not really. Everything's, kind of just in a holding pattern.
Holding pattern. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Getting back to them.
And we don't know how the schools are going to end up changing or what they're going to do. We're all, just unsure of what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talk to one district to another and it's totally different, and one school to another school.
Yeah.
We just.
It is not sustainable for two parents that work outside of the house.
No, it's not at all.
So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I find out soon so that I can plan accordingly. Because at some point, one of us is going to have to go down to part-time to manage it. And because it's not with a third grader and a kindergartner for next year. If they're not in school for the time that school's normally at, I don't know how we're managing.
I don't know how we can go on like this. I really don't think it can be that way, but we're not the ones in charge either. Okay, I didn't ask, did anyone else have something they would like to add or mention?
Silly question. But the last time I saw notes, minutes, there were some things that didn't come because there was a yellow font. Did anybody find that?
You're super jarbled. It's hard to understand.
Oh. I was looking at the last minutes, okay, online. Then I went to print it. And when I printed it, some of it didn't come out because the font was in yellow contrast, yellow print. I was wondering if anybody else found that.
Mine is all printed out. That's why I'm just looking at it down here. So,
Okay.
um,
There were links and there were, I couldn't get it because it didn't come out.
the links I have came out in blue ink and the others were in red ink.
Oh.
So it did all appear.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be your printer needs some different color ink. It prints out in black, but the other colors might not have mixed properly.
Oh, okay. All right. Check it out.
Okay, I am guessing we're at a pause here. I don't have any other new information, so we can either continue to stare at our computers or we can go and join our families again.
You have a date for the next meeting?
Our next meeting is scheduled for July 27th.
Okay.
And, we mentioned at the beginning of this before everybody joined, if we wanted to have a meeting in person, we could do that outside somewhere. Now with our numbers, we could have it anywhere, but outside would be the easiest. I said I volunteered my house, my backyard, if we would like to do that. I don't know what everybody else feels. I can post it out or we can talk about it, whatever. I have a big enough yard, so there's no problem.
Well, the nice part about having the Zoom capabilities is that you no longer have to worry about, well, what happens if it rains? If it rains, we stay home and we do this.
And right,
So-
that's true. We could do that too if we wanted to. Anybody else have any?
Well, if town hall is open, which it is, we've been having meetings like in the courtroom. This way it's big enough to where everybody could just spread out.
All right.
Okay.
So that's a possibility.
Okay, well, how about if I put something out there and we can all respond and then decide? We don't have to decide it right this moment.
That sounds
Okay.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
just give some options and then we can, go from
right,
there.
and be flexible enough to whatever. Okay,
Yep.
Sounds
We have the
good.
courtroom, like I said, we have the PAL building, we have the recreation building. So this place is large enough to have everybody spread out.
right. Okay.
Yep.
I'll post it out and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, we're still scheduled for July 27th, and then we'll go from there.
All right, thank you.
Good.
Okay,
Sounds
thank
good.
you. Thank everybody. Everybody stay healthy.
You too.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
All righty.
evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.